You know why? Let's go
Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Robertson County Democratic Party. Will you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to do the roll call. Billy Jackson. Trudy Jackson. Matt Jones. Bethany Justice. Tamara Bavendam. Andrew Reed. Mark Conwell. Don Gaylord. Stormy Stafford. Luke Schneider. Donna Norris. Hunter Doyle. Rita Davis. Jared Leftrick. Kathy Woodard. Guy Stanley. Bonnie Willingham. Andy Hurd. Suzanne Glover. Mike Lewis. Laurel Burr. Wynn Woodard. Marie Lynch Gaylord. Brooks Spencer. Do a quick count. We do have a quorum.
You didn't call me, did you?
I'm sorry?
You didn't call, did you?
Oh, you're right. I'm present. Jarvis Turnley.
Present.
Caroline Bowman Snyder. Peggy Ruth, who normally would be doing this, so that's why I messed it up. She's out of town. And then Donna Lewis. Very good. So yes, indeed, we do have a quorum. Let me save this real quickly. Very good. Executive Committee, you should have the minutes. You should have received those and have hard copies on your chair. Please take a moment and look at them if you haven't done so already. Do I have a motion to approve? Jared Leftrick. Second? Jarvis. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Donna Lewis is out of town, but the treasurer's report is available for anybody who wants to look at it. I have a copy here at my desk. As for the chair report, as has been the case for the last few meetings, most of what we're going to be talking about tonight will come out of committee. But I do want to take a moment and remind everybody of the November 29th Day of Action. This is going to be a statewide thing. All 95 counties in the state are being asked to canvass on that day in 3 major counties. That is Davidson, Williamson, and Montgomery. Robertson County has been assigned to Montgomery County, and they're asking at least 5 of us show up to do canvassing. I hope to get a lot more than that. But that is a big ask. That's going to be the last big push before the election on December 2nd. If you have any questions about that, please see me or Tamara. I do have one situation that I want to have the minutes reflect. Sue Ward, who has attended several of our meetings, but she's in a wheelchair and couldn't be here tonight. She emailed me last night and said she wanted to make a donation for food, but she couldn't do so physically. So she offered to make a donation of $100 via ActBlue, and in return, I went out and bought food with my money at Aldi, and we're going to make that donation. But I will in turn ask that the party reimburse me for that. So I've kept the receipt. The ActBlue transaction is there for all to see, as well as the email exchange. So I just want the minutes to reflect that that transaction will take place once Donna returns.
Need a motion on that?
Let's go ahead and do that, just to be safe. Okay, okay, second? This guy standing, I think I've heard. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for letting me get my money back.
Can we pay you in Bitcoin?
Thanks. Appreciate that. Alrighty, let's move on into committee reports. Tamara with Outreach.
All right, so when I was thinking back on the past month, I went, oh my gosh. So it's been really an incredible month, an incredible 4 or 5 months when you really think about what's to walk in here and have small conversations going on amongst people. The amount of engagement and participation is just growing month to month, and that's really, really exciting. So just to summarize, we were at Rumble and the Bumble in Greenbrier in October 23rd, I think, or something. And the Chosen Fall Festival following Saturday, and both had good conversations, not a huge amount of booth traffic, but at every presence, every time we're there, there are Democrats in Robertson County that are out doing things. We had the kickoff party on November 8th, which really was an amazing success. So many people contributed to that I'm not going to try to run it all off. Caroline may be talking about that a little bit too. I mean, we kind of jointly did it, and all the cool things she did, and Bethany. Anyway, and surprisingly, Afytn, we really did not know Afytn was going to show.
Literally, Tim, about 20 minutes before the event. Yeah, we didn't know she was going to be there.
So anyway, it was amazing that she was here and Darden was here, and there's a little clip of them in the car that was done right outside on the street here. So there's a lot, it was a kickoff for early voting and also a community building event for us. And I think it did both very, very nicely. It kicked off our week of supporting Afytn in Robertson County. A lot of the campaign-supported activities are going on in Montgomery, Williamson, and Davidson County. So we took a week and focused on Robertson County. We had 2 days of successful phone banking, and thank you to everyone who participated in that. I think everyone enjoyed it. Guy's been doing a lot on his own, and if anyone wants to do it from home, I have a list. You can take it home and make phone calls. What this list doesn't do is tell you if someone's already voted, so if they've already voted, you can just thank them if they answer their phone. And then we had a very successful canvass on Sunday. And not everyone came to the door. We left literature. Some people didn't know. So again, we're community building, and a lot of people did hear about the election and the importance of it. And while we have been saying it's a flippable district, it's actually starting to feel much closer to a reality. What I can say is, just as I'm watching things, and it's just impossible to stay on top of everything, but I think I mentioned this on the 8th, there's this group, Engage Y'all, a PAC that's involved. They have people on the ground and around the country doing postcards and canvassing and all of that. And I just found out there's a group called Stand Up for Science, which started, I'm not sure exactly when it started, but anyway, DC and Georgia is where they're kind of out of because the CDC and the NIH were so impacted. And they're going to be on the ground here canvassing for Afytn. So the campaign is really starting to get a lot of attention. which it deserves, and I think it truly is flippable if we can get people out voting. So, there's phone banking for Afytn. Go on our page, volunteer. You can sign up at any time to be a part of their virtual phone banking. I have some phone lists I'm happy to give people if they want to just call people from home and talk to them and say, special election vote Afytn. We can keep working on Robertson County, but on the 29th, as Tony said, I signed up for the 2 o'clock and the second, there's 3 sessions in Montgomery. I signed up for the second 2. So anyone else wants to sign up for the second 2, we can kind of do a carpool, up and back. I'm driving up there, I figure I might as well work 4 hours. We have 1 yard sign here left. If anyone has a place to put it, it would be great. I don't think anyone in the room, if you did request a large yard sign, they actually are available finally, but they want to deliver them. And I don't know when they're going to deliver them. So someone.
Really too big?
Yeah.
I offered to pick ours up and they said no. So anyway, it's not easy running a campaign. The other thing I wanted to mention, I learned about on an Indivisible call the other day, is there's an app called Neighbors to Neighbors, numeral 2, Neighbor to Neighbor, which is gives you what they call a progressive person in your neighborhood. If you put your zip code in and your address, that'll give you, now Tony and I compared the list, they're not exactly the same list, so we're not sure where they're pulling from, but it's another opportunity in Robertson County to go out and talk to some people and maybe get them, so you can do that on your own, neighbor to neighbor, and find some people to talk to. Getting out the vote is everything for this election. There are 2 sign-ups back there. The Salvation Army bell ringers, which are both in Kroger and Walmart in Springfield and White House, they benefit the food bank here. And 80 to 85% of the money that they raise comes to the food bank. And so if anyone wants to sign up, we got quite a few on the 8th to sign up to be a bell ringer, but if anyone else wants to sign up, it's back there. And the Springfield Christmas Parade is on December 6th. And I queried the executive committee, and there seemed to be a fair amount of energy for doing some sort of Robertson County Democratic Party something in the parade on December 6th. We have to know what that something is on December 23rd. That's when the applications are due. The options, November 23rd, yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm actually functional today. Yesterday afternoon I hit the wall, so. There's the entries are marching band, probably not. Decorated walking unit, single vehicle float. Now Craig does have a 16-foot trailer that could become a float. So if people have ideas for a float, that's an option, or a group of vehicles that are decorated. Okay, so those are the 4 categories. There's a sign-up sheet for the subcommittee to help figure out what this is going to be over the next few days so that we can, I think, win or lose, we need to be out loud and proud on December 6th. So hopefully there's some creative people here. One of the twins, does everyone know who the twins are? Megan and Johanna, they can never come to a Tuesday night meeting because of their work schedule. But they had an idea for the whatever we do under the theme of Christmas Carol, because apparently when Marley said, I should have focused my business on mankind. That's a poor quote. It's not the right words, but the idea is very similar to our neighbors helping neighbors. So that is a potential thing to run with in terms of the parade. Don't know, just throwing it out there because someone told me that and it sounded kind of like it might work. The last thing I just want to talk about is, at the last meeting, Craig gave a great speech address, motivation thing here to us, which turned into a podcast. And then it became Jared, who works at Coopertown Middle School and was running their Veterans Day program this past week, invited Craig to come address the middle schoolers. So, now I'm biased, no question. However, he threaded the needle of making civics and duty and service relevant to middle schools. So I just put this up on the Robco Indivisible Facebook page. I had to learn to make it. Anyway, so, and then I'm gonna put it on our website or our Facebook page, and then please make this viral. I guarantee you, when you watch it, you will understand why it's so important to get this out there. And it's not political. It is absolutely about duty and service. So that's the last, and it was just really cool to see that kind of all come out of this. Oh, the best thing about that was Craig reading online about the existence of the civics course for 8th graders in Tennessee, that there's a House bill or something, and I think Jared's talked about this a little bit before. Craig walked in and asked the young women sitting at the table, who teaches your civics class, because he wanted to talk with them, and they didn't know what he was talking about as far as the civics class. So the civics class doesn't exist yet, and Sabi was also one of the speakers, our representative in the Tennessee Assembly, and so as Craig gave his speech, it became glaringly clear, that there's sort of a mismatch between intent and what's actually happening in the schools anyway, so and Craig has now sent a letter to Zabi to try to stimulate him, and so anyway, Craig is talking with Jared, so that's a really cool thing that is now starting to percolate out there, is getting some civics education, back in the schools here. So anyway, I think that's the end of what I have to say.
Well, thanks. That's very impressive. We appreciate everything you do, Tamara. And one thing you didn't mention, and not that you would know, but on the November 8th event, we raised almost $800 for our party. So that was really, really fantastic. So yay. And I don't know if you guys saw the literal truckload of food that we collected. It was literally, it filled up the bed of his truck. And we delivered that to the food bank. So that was very, very wonderful. Thank you. Podcast, Andrew.
All right, so like Tamara said, last meeting we had Craig. He came up and delivered a powerful address, and many people came up and said, hey, that should really be a podcast. Can we make that happen? So Craig and Tamara did make that happen, turned it into a podcast. It's also up on Facebook, and between YouTube and Facebook alone, it has over 1,000 views. So if you have not seen that, please scroll down on our Facebook page a little bit. It's probably about 10 videos down, or 10 posts down at this point. Go find that, watch it, share it. It's incredible. Then we did, like Tamara said, reach out to Sherry, and she is with the United Ministries Food Bank. We partnered with her. She's an incredible person and going to be an incredible partner moving forward. And she did a podcast with us all about United Ministries and the food bank and how people could get involved there, and tied it in with our Neighbors Helping Neighbors as well. And that has almost 1,000 views on Facebook. So again, find these videos, like them, share them. It just gives them more visibility, and they'll kind of pop back up into our feed again and keep people watching. We need to keep people involved and stimulated moving forward to this final vote. We're 2 weeks away. Jared and Craig's video is also up on our Facebook page, and right now I think that one kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Let's go back and find that one and re-like it and reshare it, because it's only about 4 down, but it only has about 300 views, and it is incredible. So like that one, share that one. We need it. We've got an immigration podcast that we did. We've got another one done as well that's going to get posted up. So we're overall, as far as content goes, we're averaging better than one video content a week. So we're doing pretty well on that front right now, getting content out and posted up for us to see. We would love to keep people engaged. The entire point right now is motivating people to get out and vote, and just finding that one little issue can make all the difference for somebody. So I would still love to get somebody from the Black Caucus. I would still love to get somebody from the Rural Caucus to get out there. Let's motivate some more voters to come out to the polls. And then we have Mark, I'm going to call you out on this one here, who's willing to come and share some statistics that he's been researching with us. And right now, from the preliminary data, it sounds like we have about 33% increase in voter turnout on the Democratic side than we have in years past. So, a huge motivating factor. As other Democrats know, that there's a 33% increase of people that are coming out to vote. I think that's going to get people out to vote too. So we're definitely going to get that one in the can so that we can get that one up as well. So the more content that we're able to push out that just finds these little issues for people, the better. So please come see me, come see Tamara if you want to do a podcast with us. I think that is about all I've got on that front.
Don't sit down. Sorry. Probably the best advertisement, the best praise has come to me from my Republican commissioners on the election commission. They say, your podcast, you all are doing a great podcast. You've got great people doing things for you. I said, yes, we do.
Perfect.
We have a lot of young, active, and older active, but we are, and the Republican Party has taken notice, and they are quite familiar with what we're doing.
We like to make them squirm, so excellent.
Thank you, Andrew. Is there anything to report out from the Black Engagement Subcommittee? Read it.
Okay, just real quick, Tamara already mentioned that that on November 1st, the Black Caucus, along with our party, we represented at the Chosen Fall Festival, and the numbers were small. The number of booths were small, but I was excited because as I spoke with people, they were excited about the upcoming election. Many women, I shouldn't say women, because that's who I mostly spoke with, but many people were aware, and those who were not aware about the election were excited to hear about it. So that excited me to know that there's definitely interest not only in the Robeson County community, but in the Black community as well. And we just have to get out there, make ourselves known, and just encourage people to be engaged. And so that's what we're going to try to continue to do moving forward.
Thank you, Rita. Bethany, you want to give us a finance update?
Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about our monthly donors. So we've seen quite an increase in the last year or so, and we would really like to see that to continue. So the Finance Committee is going to be working on a campaign pretty soon to increase our monthly donations and just get that more visible. So we are doing really good with that, and I want to encourage you if you're able. But those numbers are looking really good.
Can you highlight the dollar amount change from year over year? that you
Yeah,
talked about?
so
That would be great.
I'll say, I guess Act Blue, we started in 2017, and it started at around like $35.
This is Act Blue donation. I
Act
just
Blue
want you to
donation.
see how things have changed
Yes,
since then.
2017 was around $36 for that year, going up to like 2022 was around $150.
That's
And then
yearly or monthly?
Yes, that's yearly.
it's yearly, and then now at 2025 we're around $1,700
Yeah.
for monthly donation.
Yeah, there's been about a 2,000% increase over the last couple of years. And keep in mind, thank you. And keep in mind that most of our donations are now coming in via Act Blue as opposed to checks, which probably was the case before. So that's a little bit skewed, but Act Blue is certainly, the numbers have gone up significantly. So that's just a measure of how well we're doing as a party, I think.
Yeah, and so we just want to get that like QR code a little more visible of how you can become a monthly donor. So think about adding that onto more of our cards and things like that, and doing a campaign hopefully in the next few months, probably after Christmas. So do that. But that's
Great, thank you. One thing that you kind of jogged my mind thinking about expenses going forward, and this is something that Tamara and I have talked about. For Tamara to do her job effectively, a lot of the events that she tables at or participates in require certificates of insurance. And the state will give us certificates of insurance, but they cap them at 3. And that's just not enough for what we want to do. What does that mean? Well, we're going to have to get our own insurance policy. And so we're going to have the monthly expense of insurance so we can do unlimited numbers of certificates of insurance. We won't be doing unlimited numbers, but we'll do probably like 10 a year maybe. But we need to do that. That's all to say that that's going to be another expense we're going to be adding to our budget. And so we need to offset that with some more donations, monthly donations. So I encourage you, if you can, $10 a month via ActBlue. Put it on your credit card. You'll forget about it. You won't even miss it. I do it. Plenty of other people in the room do it. And that helps us meet our expenses. We are very lean and mean, but if we want to grow, we're not going to have a concomitant increase in our expenses. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Caroline, I forgot to put you on the agenda, but forgive me for that. But communications, anything to report out?
No, all good.
Okay. Very good.
We
Very
covered
good.
everything.
Alrighty, is there any unfinished business that we need to address? Alrighty, hearing none, let's move on to new business. Anything that we need to discuss? Very good. So we're going to jump into a special little talk from Tom Wilson. He's going to talk about something he's been doing himself. So Tom, come on up.
I really kind of don't need one because I project pretty well, but I wanted to talk for a second. It's off the topic. Okay, I can eat it too. I want to talk for just a second about an issue I think all of us have dealt with at some point, and that is friends and family and acquaintances that have drank the Kool-Aid of Omega. And I've wondered, part of the reason that I got involved in what I'm involved with, and I'm going to be talking about in just a minute, was because of that, and wanting to find out kind of what was going on in the world with that. And what I wound up doing was contacting these folks, but I wanted to share with you something I found just recently, and some of you may have seen this before. I've got to figure out where I'm going here. Oh, there we are. Okay. This is a quote from Carl Sagan. Some of you younger folks may not know who he is, but he was a prominent physicist and an author. And he wrote this. He said, "One of the saddest things in history is this. If we've been bamboozled long enough, we tend to reject any evidence of the bamboozle. We're no longer interested in finding out the truth. The bamboozle has captured us. It's simply too painful to acknowledge even to ourselves that we've been taken. Once you've given a charlatan power over you, you almost never get it back." And, when I read that, I was like, oh, that explains so much. When you say get facts and figures and truth, and it gets rejected out of hand, I think that's the reason why. So I found out that the best thing to do was just, I hate to put it that way, but just not talk to them, but not talk politics, and talk about issues without trying to put a political spin on it. And sometimes the truth, if you just come at it with truth, you can be there. Anyway, so that was, I just felt the desire to share that with y'all. I just felt like there was so much truth in it. Anyway, so what I want to talk to you about was a situation I found myself in. I was watching, and I don't know, maybe it was 60 Minutes or one of those television shows, and they had a story on about these folks, and so I got in contact with them, and it's called One Small Step. And what it is, it's a branch of a group called StoryCorps. And if you go online and you look up StoryCorps, you'll find them, and they have several different things that they're involved with in sharing information with people from all over the country. But one of their programs, and if you go to StoryCorps and you look under programs, you'll find one called One Small Step. And what the idea of One Small Step is that it puts you in touch with somebody else from another part of the country that you probably wouldn't have met otherwise, and you can talk with them. The way it works is that you go on yourself, enter into the program, say you want to join it, and they'll ask you a bunch of questions. It's been now so long since I answered them, I can't tell you how many, but some of them are about who you are, your age, what part of the country you live in. They'll ask you if you're religious or not, and they'll ask you what kind of your political connections. And once you enter that information in there, and it doesn't take very long to answer those questions, then they will connect you with other people. They have an analog system or AI or whatever that picks out 6 to 8 people that you can then choose from that you'd like to talk to. And they'll just give you a first name, they'll give you their little general information about them, and then you say, okay, this is the one I want to contact. And they will set it up so that you contact them via video mail, video conference on their website for your conferences. And then once you do that, then you can go back, you can set a time to go back every so often and have another conversation with them. It's kind of totally up to you how you handle it. Now, the gentleman that I got hooked up with about a year ago, his name is Fred. He's an over-the-road truck driver. So when I talk to him, we talk once a week for about an hour. When we talk, he might be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or Vancouver, Canada. So there's no telling where he might be. But he has arranged his schedule so that on a certain day of the week, certain hour, he's going to have a rest time so he can pull off the road and we can talk. And it's been a wonderful, I call him one of my best friends. He's a great guy. And we have talked about everything. We always talk about our families. He's very family oriented. We talk about our churches. We're both in church. We talk about, we have a little bit about politics, but mostly we've just become really good friends. And I would encourage you, if you have an interest in talking with, expanding your sphere of influence, or to talk to other people from other parts of the country to just kind of get a feel for them, is an excellent way to do it. And in fact, if you look at the StoryCorp, they've got other programs as well, but this is the one that I've gotten involved with. Now they will also ask you for a donation because they're a nonprofit. They have had some help in the past from public television folks, but that's been under attack. So it's just a way for Americans to talk to other Americans, and I think it's just for me, it's been an extraordinarily eye-opening and interesting thing. So this is what I want to share.
Thank you, Tom. Before we move on to our guest speaker, a couple of announcements. Caroline wanted to let everyone know that she has t-shirts for sale. She takes a check and Act Blue. And also for our December meeting, that's going to be Tuesday, December 16th. That will be our, not only meeting, but also our holiday party, and we also have a guest speaker. So plan to be there for that, because we're going to really have a nice season-ending little event, okay? Jarvis, would you like to introduce our guest speaker?
I'm introducing our guest speaker today. I've been knowing her for almost 4 or 5 years, since 2019, 2020. She was running for governor and I was running for state house for this district. We met because we both love boots on the ground. She don't mind holding the supermajority accountable. She don't mind holding Governor Lee accountable. She's proven to do that numerous times. Great person who fights for rural communities and don't mind listening to everybody of the great state of Tennessee. And the one I'm introducing is Dr. Carnita Atwater.
Dr. Carnita Atwater, and I'm going to do something a little bit different than most politicians. And I'm going to tell you who I am, but I want to see who you are, okay? So I'm going to do this and then I start my speech. Because I'm a farmer, and also I believe in preserving the farmer's history, okay? But I want to know, are you all really farmers and really live in the rural community, okay? So hold on a minute. I know you was not prepared for this, but who remember this? Stars, okay? Okay, number 3, right? Remember this. Raise your hand, remember this. Green is sanitary, okay? How about this? Hot sack. Oh, you all may be farmers in here. Didn't bring my tobacco.
The same ones from Brussels sprouts are from my background.
When I was a little girl, 3 years old on the farm, what is this?
Oh, yeah.
Bridle bit. My grandfather taught me how to put the bridle bit on at 3 years of age. What is this? When you go pump your water from the well? Good. Well, maybe have you on this.
Sheep shears.
Exactly. You all may be farmers here. Bring them home. Of course you don't corn it. Cowbell. Oh, here's some farmers right here. Okay, farmers. Plant your seed. I got kind of suspicious then. Egg eater. Okay, ladies. Nutting egg. Great. That's correct. And one more. There you go. Now I know you all are farmers, okay? I've been on the booth, on the ground today, running and campaigning and canvassing for Afytn today. I started at 6 o'clock in Dover, Tennessee. Then I went to Woodland. I stayed there an hour or two. And then I went to Clarksville, Tennessee. I've been there about 5 hours. So I'm headed here. But again, my name is Dr. Carnita Atwater. I am running for the governor of the state of Tennessee. I ran in 2022. I received 60,000 votes and did not do any campaigning. Only went to 3 counties. So I put boots on the ground. With that said, most people, when I'm running for governor, they ask me, they say, why are you running for governor? And I'm just going to give you a little bit of history about me. I'm running for governor because I think I am uniquely different. I bring so much to the table. I have served in the capacity of Dean of Medical Studies, Academic Dean, Dean of Students, Hospital Administrator, Nursing Home Administrator, Adjunct Professor, a Medical Director, and a host of other academic. And then I have the history of governmental laws, rules, and regulations. I have been over $2 billion budget, lost the sound. But with that said, I was over $2 billion of budget, and one thing that's really uniquely different about me is because I feed over 10,000 individuals a year with my own personal money. I donate 5,000 book bags and school supplies to children all over the state of Tennessee. I donate 5,000 coats every year. When Waverly had their flood, I had taken a big U-Haul down there and I took clothing and food and toiletries there. When Clarksville had their tornado, I had taken four U-Hauls there with food and toiletries and clothes. So I have always had boots on the ground. Ironically, when I was Dean of Medical Studies in Clarksville, I had about 20 students that live in Springfield. So I'm very familiar with Springfield. So I have helped them pay their utilities and their houses. So again, I'm uniquely different because I'm connected to the Tennessean. With that said, I am running because I want to present a resurrection of hope. Just like the Republican had their Project 2025, I have a project, a resurrection of hope plan. And in that plan, it's going to address things that we need to be addressing, not isolated. Like when we talk about the SNAP, they're trying to disconnect the SNAP and the WIC. 5 years ago, I identified that Governor Lee was withholding $743 million of temporary assistance for needy families. If we had a governor that thought comprehensive, because I have a comprehensive plan that I'm going to present if I'm blessed to become governor. With that plan, even if they was trying to dismiss SNAP and WIC, with my comprehensive food plan, it would cover every county in the state of Tennessee. We have to be more progressive now, and that's why we need a governor that think holistic. And what I mean by that, okay? I don't know about the crime in Springfield, but best believe whatever happened in Nashville and Clarksville is going to trickle down to Springfield. And the reason I say that, I work with gang members. And if you do not address the gang affiliation in Nashville, they're going to move into your counties. So don't think you're immune to that, because they're getting smart and they're going to small rural areas so they can sell drugs and commit crimes. So you need a governor that has his or her fingers on the pulsation of crime. I do have a first Tennessee crime prevention bill that I want to roll out. Never in the history of Tennessee have we had a comprehensive crime prevention bill. Also, the farmers, I am a farmer myself. I want to have a farm bill where I have farmers on the committee of the governor's plan. Immigration plan, I also have that in place, and a host of other things. We need to be addressing economic disparities, and what I mean by that, in Nashville, they've been rolling out millions of dollars to rich developers and investors, while rural communities, their hospitals have been closing. I want to put a push pin in that. And the money that they give in Core City and Trossdale for the prison, I want to go back and circumvent that money back to the rural community. And then even in my program, I want to have satellite medical clinics so we can compensate for the rural community when it comes to closing hospital. Because people should not drive 30 or 40 minutes to a hospital when they have a true emergency. So that's a big concern of mine. Yes, most people, when they're talking and running for governor, they're talking about isolated incident, SNAP benefits being cut, or they may talk about little things that just pop up. But we need a plan of action in place so that whatever come our way, we can address those issues. And anytime while I'm talking, you can stop me because I'm not a robot. I ask question on demand. I've been a dean of 5 colleges. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and I will answer that. Okay. Have any questions so far? Yes.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
I like young people questions because they keep you on your toes.
Hello, my name is Montavious.
Nice to meet you.
You as well, ma'am. I'm from California originally when I was a kid, and even in a technically small county, it was still about 100,000 people. And I wanted your opinion in just a general feel of the room. Do you feel that Tennessee should urbanize as a state to better help generally? I know that's a very broad question, but do you believe that urbanization for Tennessee would go a long way?
they say be careful what you pray for. Now, it's two spins to that. With urbanization also comes gentrification. And Nashville is a good example of that. When I look back, when I was a dean in Nashville, they had homeless people, they had low-income people, they had hard-working people. But in Nashville, they have pushed the people out because the cost of living is too high. And they're not building affordable homes. What they're building is built up, not out apartments. You cannot pass generational wealth to your family through rental property. So what I would say, for any rural community, hold on to that as long as you can. Because if not, you're going to be gentrified. Clarksville is seeing that. When I lived in Clarksville 20 years ago, it's a whole different animal now. They have high crime because with urbanization comes high crime, drug addiction, gang affiliation, poverty. So I believe in urbanization, but I believe in putting a cap on it also too. I believe in progressive growth, but you want to have, even in Springfield, you want to have a comprehensive plan that brings everybody to the table of prosperity. And what's happening here now is politicians are making decisions for the citizens. And I believe in my heart that as the next governor, we need to put people back into politics. And no politician should be making decisions for the taxpayer, including the governor. Did I answer your question?
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on that. I don't want to take up too much time. Is it okay if we talk later after everything?
Sure.
Yeah, for just a moment. I don't want to.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you, though.
Yes. So in my revitalization plan, the mission of that is to pull up the state of Tennessee from the dead of economic disparities and housing disparities. Because that's our biggest problem right now, is people are living in housing that's dilapidated. Most of their money is going to their mortgage or their taxes. Our utility is going up in the state of Tennessee. And so we have to be very cognitive about that. And we have to have leaders that's going to put boots on the ground and have a relationship with the people that they're representing. Now, granted, I know most people running for a political office, they would tell you what they want you to hear. But I am a proven statistic. I have had boots on the ground for 40 years. So I'm already relatable. I just told you I received 60,000 votes and didn't even campaign. So apparently someone knows what I'm all about. I'm not running for governor for no position because, again, I'm the only gubernatorial candidate that going to donate 3/4 of my salary back to the community. And I challenge each and every one of them to do that. If you're really about representing the people, then give 3/4 of your salary back to the people. And so when the other gubernatorial candidate come, ask them, are they willing to challenge Dr. Carnita Atwater and give their salary back? Any other question?
Actually, I had a, when you were speaking earlier, you were talking about the prison systems and that, and were you suggesting that prevention and intervention programs be established statewide?
The
for
first
drug
thing,
and alcohol, et cetera, because I worked as a drug and alcohol counselor in the New York State prison system, and addiction and incarceration kind of go hand in hand. That and also childhood trauma and stuff like that. But did you have any idea for putting something to actually reduce the prison population by intervening before people went way out there?
well, actually, in my Resurrection of Hope plan, in that crime prevention plan I told you about, what we're trying to address, I'm totally against private institutions. And also, the state of Tennessee has given over $50 million to Core City. So the first thing that I want to do, I want to go back and address the misappropriation, the governmental waste that's going in the prison system, and how we do that. Again, going through the holistic approach, I want to address intervention and prevention, workforce development, conflict resolution, anger management, drug use, because what I know, because I said I had a pulsation finger on the community, right? I speak to inmates all the time, and they give me things back out of Trousdale. I have seen people stabbed to death in Trousdale, have medical illness, and they do not give them health care. So what I want to do, I want to prevent teenagers from going to the prison from the start. And also, even running for governor, I fought against Shelby County last month from putting a new jail in my community. I think they thought because I was running for governor, I was not going to fight, but I've been a community activist way before I thought to run for governor. And I do believe if you're running for any position, you need to stand for something or you're going to fall for everything. Any more questions? Yes. Now keep in mind, most people running for governor, some of the topics that I'm talking about, they don't want to speak on it. But we as Democrats, we need to address some hard issues now. Because we done played too much and stayed too long. It's not about just you running, voting for people because you like them. Even as Democrats, we have to put our sisters and brothers to the test now. And they must talk about hard topics. Yes.
My name is Justin, and
hi, Justin.
Hi. I have a question. What is your plan for addressing the affordable housing issue? Because just like in every city across the country, here in Tennessee, we have a affordable housing issue. Like for example, in Nashville, like you just said, it's hard to, it's difficult to find a home, and like if you live in an apartment, the rent is pretty high. So what is and it's hard to find a home, especially here in Springfield or anywhere else here in Tennessee. So what is your plan for addressing the affordable housing issue?
Actually, not only my plan, about 5 years ago, I sued the city of Memphis, Shelby County, the state of Tennessee, and Governor Lee for $20 billion for housing disparities. Now, we're behind the curveball because what's going on in Nashville is trickling down. Budgets are moral documents. So if the governor and the state is giving developers and investors all the funding, and what I mean by that, HUD funding. HUD funding was earmarked for low-income and moderate-income families. If you go back and look at the fiscal budget, HUD funding is being given to large corporations and investors and developers. All you have to do is pull the state fiscal budget to see that. And so what I want to do as the next governor, I have a Housing Affordable Act that I want to roll out. But we have to go back now and put a bandage on a third-degree burn because the train have left the track. How do you go back and receive these houses and property from out-of-state investors? See, our problem is larger than just local and state. What the state of Tennessee has done is allow people from all over the United States to come in and buy property from the state of Tennessee. And also, this is one of my little secrets, when you go back to your land bank, it used to be in any county, 95 counties, the local people could go and buy property from the land bank. Now, they set aside properties for investors. So where does the local families, where they can hold on to their property, that's something else too I want to address as a governor. Why are we allowing low income and senior citizens to lose their home through tax lien sale? Why is that? To me, that's unethical and unfair. So that goes back to, we have to connect the dots. You need a governor that is going to connect the dots. I come with public health administration, community health education, governmental rules and regulations. You need someone that's well-rounded to know the game that's going on. And unfortunately, the only one paying the cost is the taxpayers. Any more questions?
What about public education?
I believe that public school is a human right. Okay? Now, as the next governor, what I would do, you have the right to send your child to any school you want. But what the governor should not do is force school vouchers on parents. Let it be their choice. So what you'll find in the state of Tennessee, they're trying to really demolish our public schools. Okay? Now, but when we talk about school, let's talk about equity too. Some schools, if you're in a affluent neighborhood, you're getting top-notch technology. But if you're in an underserved, marginalized, rural community, you may not be getting the same quality of education. I want to balance that scale. We also know that in Nashville, they have allocated majority of the funds to most of the urban communities. Nashville, Memphis, Chattanooga, and Knoxville. And they have allowed the rural community to be disinvested for over decades. I want to go back in and balance that scale because we all are taxpayers. So whatever they're doing for one school, they need to be doing for the rural schools also too. Did that answer your question? Oh, you can put me on the spot now, because I think on my feet. See, because if you're running for governor, you got to be prepared by any means necessary. Bring it on.
I'm just wondering how it looks like when we got county school boards in every county, property tax funds the school system. What's this?
So everybody can hear you. You gotta push the on button.
So, if every county has a school board and most kinds are funded by the property tax in that county, what's the state going to do to, what you say, the equity, the equality of education?
The state is going to do exactly what they're doing now. Not too much anything. To be honest about it, I want to be transparent with you. It's going to take a governor that knows the game. Good example in Memphis. I can give you a good example. They tried to shut down the public schools in Memphis, but they defunded the schools in Memphis. So how do you expect for children to get a decent, equitable education if you're not funding the children? Now, keep in mind, there are things that's being intentional in the state of Tennessee that we're not paying attention to because we're so busy fighting the small battles. What they're doing with the schools, with the prison system, is intentional. I was just in Mason, Tennessee. We was protesting against that. And the Core Civic opened up a detention center. See, prison and detention centers are multi-billion-dollar businesses. Okay? They'd rather put money in the prison system than to put money into our schools. That's where you need a governor that's going to challenge that. Again, with the schools, I have a plan, an educational plan, also with the teachers. I'm a former educator that I want to incentivize the teachers. They're working for minimum wages as far as I'm concerned. The teachers should be getting more pay, more benefits, including the veterans. And I'm going to roll out my Resurrection of Hope plan after I pull my petition so that no one won't duplicate it.
I just had to comment that I originally went to college for music and special education. And 3 years in, right before I was about to start my student teaching thing, I came to the realization New York State at that time went to a model where all the music and arts teachers could be part-time. And I realized that I could make more money driving a truck, and I didn't need a master's degree to do it.
Exactly.
So, and I've seen that in other states and in Tennessee, where there's seemingly deliberate reduction of education, because that way you have people that'll work in factories for next to nothing. They'll do whatever they keep them poor, and they'll do whatever they can for next to nothing for you. And the rich get richer, and the poor get children. So.
Yeah, but this is the thing when it comes to education. They are trying to, even now as we speak, they're trying to push a bill where they're requiring teachers not to even have a bachelor's degree. See, that's dumbing us down, okay? So we have to be careful about that. And again, things are being very intentional. But we have to, as a party, we have to pay attention out in by saying that as the Democratic Party, I've been a lifetime Democrat all my life. We have to put a plan on the table. Just like that Project 2025, we need a strategic, holistic plan on the table so that when things come to us, we already have nipped it in the bud. We have to be more intentional on how we're going to govern this party. And I'm going to be intentional on how I try to win for governor. Okay? You need a governor that have thought it through, a governor that's given 3/4 of her salary back, so it tells you something right there. But my Resurrection Hope plan will let you know exactly where we need to be going. And if anyone running, if they don't have a plan, I'm not talking about political talking points. We all can do that. But I have, about 6 months, have worked on this Resurrection Hope plan. Again, pulling Tennessee from the dead so that we can have one Tennessee. And that's what my goal is. Yes.
Dr. Atwater, is your Resurrection of Hope plan up on a website somewhere there where you can find you and find your plan?
Good question. The Resurrection of Hope is not on the website, and it was intentional. At first, I was going to be very naive. You know, I wanted everybody to know where I was coming from. But God have a way of working things out. The guy who developed my web plan, I overwhelmed him. So he didn't know where to put it. And that was good because it saved me. I need to wait until we put a petition to get bona fide, then I'll release that plan. But I do have a atwaterforgovernor.com. You can go on there and you can see some of my agendas on there. And you also can see who I am. If you hit about Atwater for Governor, if you pick up my push card, you can see exactly what I stand for. Okay. Thank you. But that was a good question right there. But again, you have to be strategic, because what I find that when I ran the last time, no one was thinking about all the subject matter that I was bringing to the table. And then once I would say it, then they would make that their talking point. You need to know every gubernatorial candidate, what they really represent. They can't come and talk about just SNAP and WIC. What are you going to do about it? I have fed 10,000 people every year. I have a plan of action. We can't talk about crime. What are you doing about it? I have created 150 jobs for ex-felons and juveniles and gang members. In February, I had a mediation, and you remember that. I invited almost 200 gang members to my place of business so we could mediate. And trust me, I don't know Springfield, I tried to research you all last night, but you all have gangs in this town. Raise your hand if you know you have gangs in this town. Okay? If you have gangs, you have drugs. If you have drugs, you have human trafficking. If you have human trafficking, you have prostitution. So what's your plan of action? Have your mayor addressed that? It's for you all to demand, because you have to protect yourself now. And I'll be the first to say this: if you never vote for me, We must stop voting for politicians that get in and they build their career. I believe in term limits also too. Matter of fact, if I become governor, I only need 4 years and I have a recession plan that I'm going to mentor young people to take my place. If you haven't done anything in 4 or 8 years, you need to go home and hibernate. I believe in term limits. And that's why I'm excited about Afytn. I'm excited about her running. Because we have to get the people out. If they're ineffective, and when a politician tells you what they're going to do, question them. I can tell you what I have already done. That's what makes me uniquely different. Now, I will say to you all, I know that it's different games being played. I understand that. And I appreciate you all inviting me tonight. Because when I ran the last time, only 3 local Democratic parties invited me to speak to tell them my political platform. So I was elated. I was like a child at Christmas time coming down here. So I thank you all for just at least opening up to listen to what I have to say. Be fair to all the candidates. And I can't wait until the first debate because I'm going to show up and show out then. That's why I'm not going to. See, they can be planning to have the Easter speech all they want. But the proof going to be in the pudding. Oh, yes, we can talk all articulate and all that. But that's why I told y'all to put me on the spot. Let's see will the other ones ask you to ask them a question because I could have been embarrassed, right? But I'm a twice, 5-time dean. It's not too much I haven't heard yet. Okay? Been there, done that. And students, you know, college student would challenge you. They don't care how many degrees you have. And matter of fact, 2 of them that really, they almost made me retire. They from Springfield. This young lady made me work for my money. And matter of fact, when I leave here, I'm going to visit her. Okay? It was Springfield that made me have a heart attack almost. But do you have any other questions? Because I know the time is getting late, but I can stay here all day because I don't have any hidden agenda. I'm going to be transparent even if it costs me votes. Because what we need now is people that's genuine and not just saying something for a position. We need to know how to go and weed these people out now. Because if it hasn't worked for you in the last 4 years, it's not going to work.
You know our passion for holding the civic and the General Assembly accountable for their actions. If elected governor, would you persist on any contracts with Core City?
Actually, in my Resurrection Hope plan, my intent is to shut Core City down. Because what they're going to do, and you all pay attention now, if your county and city does not have the money to fund these jails, where do you think the money coming from? Private investors. Okay? If I had my way, which I've been thinking about filing a lawsuit against them anyways, people are dying in there. Okay? They're living in inhumane conditions. So I don't have to wait until I become governor. I'm thinking about it now. Because somebody's son and daughter is going to die in Trousdale and Core City. So I want to, they also donate to candidates. Exactly. And one Democrat. We have one. See, to me, that's unethical to do that. Okay? And like you were saying also, too, in my revitalization plan, we should be not about criminalizing people. We should be about preventive and intervention measures. We all was young once upon a time. And so we need to go back and reach back and pull up and teach these young people conflict resolution, anger management. You do know you have 8th and 10th graders on drugs in this community, right? You do know they're 10 years old selling drugs in your community. You may not know it. How many know in here that you have 10-year-old individual that's selling drugs in your community? Raise your hand. Okay. They have to. And I don't know what the poverty rate here, but until we address poverty, because that's one thing I also address in my Resurrection of Hope plan, if we do not address poverty, economic disparities, housing disparities, drug affiliation, game affiliation, taxation without representation, if we do not address that, then we're going to have business as usual. I don't care what politician. You need a politician bold, unbought, and unbossed like myself. That's going to stand up toe to toe. Now, people been telling me, well, Carnita, if you win the primary, how are you going to deal with the Blackburn? That's a piece of cake. I can use her history to link her. Okay, so I'm not worried about that. I just got to get, and I have to say, because I have a godly love for my Democratic sisters and brothers. So I don't want to bash them because we're all Democrats, okay? You have 4 good candidates running. But what I want you to do is vet us. I want you to fine-tune us. Because we've had a governor in office 8 years that have caused genocide on all our communities. And so the next governor should be about the people and put people back into politics. And that's what I'm about. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for the invite. I threw you all off with daughter back there.
Thank you, Dr. Atwater. For the next hour, feel free to hang around and socialize. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.
Tony, there's one thing I wanted to mention
Yes, sir.
before you close. Cameron mentioned creating a float. I don't know how much support we have for that, but in that regard, get an 18-foot car hauler trailer. Okay, not very pretty. You want to cover it up with float material, but I can deliver it anywhere. Anywhere we want to build a float, and I have no experience at all in that. If we have anybody that has any experience and a desire to create a float and sea camera, and we can make the trailer available. And my thoughts are, if we did it, tow it with ATV in low gear, you're going 2 miles an hour. Anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you, Greg. Again, meeting adjourned.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of time.
Did you enjoy it while it was
Darwin was my name. I'm leaving in the morning for Saturday, so I'll be ready. Yeah.